Well, hello, class, and welcome to Caring for the Ministry Leader's Soul from Moody Bible Distance Learning. This is your fearless leader, Professor Jeff. Welcome to week 4. Actually, on Friday, we'll be halfway through, so great job so far. And I mean that. That's not cliche. The discussion boards have been the best discussion boards so far of my entire Moody career, which is about 2 years, and I've taught a lot of classes. So this has been a fantastic experience for me. There's been times where I've wanted to jump on. I read everything, but there's been times where I've wanted to jump on where I actually thought I would like ruin the rhythm of the discussion. So I may like post a little comment here and there or ask a question, but many of the questions I want to ask, you guys are already asking. So fantastic, rock stars. Keep up the good work. On this week, we're going to kind of shift a little bit, and you're going to be talking about ministry sustainability, margin. How do you keep margin in your life? How do you keep in ministry? How do you honestly? How do you keep from going insane? Because it's not hard. A little bit more about that later. So you're going to be doing that, and you're also going to be doing a discussion board about uh, how to recover. What area of your life does God need to help you recover your humanity? And that's based on Eswine's chapter 6 or 10. So read that, and then this is going to be kind of hard. I mean, last week you talked about your idols, and God is going to peel the onion back a little bit more, and just where do you need to recover your humanity? Where do you need God to do some healing in your heart? And this is going to be a pretty deep discussion board. So I'm excited about that because most of American Christianity is pretending. We pretend like we know more than we do. We pretend like we love more than we do. We pretend like we care more than we do. Um, we pretend a lot. And, it's the old joke. You walk into church and um, how are you doing? And somebody says, fine. And, you're a liar. I actually said that in the middle of a sermon one time, and a woman got up in the middle of the sermon, burst into tears, and ran out in the hall. And I saw one of the most beautiful things ever. A whole group of women went out there and ministered to her, but she told me afterwards that's exactly what had happened. She had walked into church, somebody said, how are you doing? She said, fine, and she was lying. So I want to make sure that you start off your ministry career, and I know many of you have been doing ministry, but that you get it in your head that true ministry is messy, and we're messy. We're messy. We're the messy ones. We're the human ones. As Zach talks about, Jonathan Edwards farted. I love that. We're. Mm, if I knew at 25 what I know now at 48, my life may be different. My ministry would have been different. If you guys could learn, especially the younger ones in this class, that you are human and there's only so fast and so far you can run without falling down. And then also, if you guys could learn that God doesn't care about you being famous, that He simply wants you to be faithful. And He will plant you where He wants you. And some of you may go on and have huge churches and success and what the world defines, right? And others of you will just be faithful to your little flock or little family or little missions place, and will be delighted in you. So, uh, I am going to post, I've got to find it first. I wrote a Facebook post a year ago, probably, called Sometimes We All Go to the Zoo. And it's one of my favorite quotes from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Sloane looks at Cameron and says, it's okay. At one point or another, we all go to the zoo. And it's a Facebook post that I wrote about a day in the life of a minister that had lost it. I had lost my margin. I had lost my mind. My family was falling apart. Um, my wife's health was terrible. The church, it was a terrible day. And I decided I was going to get in the car and I was just going to drive. And I didn't even know where I was going to drive to. I was going to drive. I live in Illinois. I was going to drive till I hit sand. And then I figured out I couldn't afford to. So I went to the zoo and I sat and I talked to the monkeys. Think about that. I talked to the red-tailed lemur. That's one of the guys I talked to. I talked to the monkeys and I just cried. And I told them all my problems. And I'm going to post, if I can find it, I'm going to post it because I share about the fact that I lost my margin. I was trained by a senior pastor who's a workaholic. He was a adult child of an alcoholic. So aholics breed aholics, right? And so he was a workaholic. In one of the easiest places workaholics can hide is in the medical field and in the ministry field. So, I mean, what are you going to say? Oh my gosh, I know you worked 112 hours last week, but, it's for the Lord. No, it's not. If you get to that point, it's not for the Lord. It's for something, but it's not for the Lord. So, with all that said, I will post that, and you can read it if you choose to. And it's just kind of my musings on where I got to. I didn't have a moral failure. I did nothing immoral. I did nothing illegal. I did nothing. I just fell down. I just got tired. I didn't get tired. I got more than tired. I got scary. So, uh, good news. I'm not in that place anymore at all. I am in a fantastic place of joy. God has restored my joy. So I'm very pleased about that. And I'm happy and I'm grateful. So, with all that said, the question of the week is, if I gave you unlimited funds and you could sit on the front row of any concert ever, of anybody, past or present, who would it be? I've already gotten, I said this to another class and I'm already getting them in. It's really cool. So I'll share with you guys what mine is. It might surprise you. But if there's any prayer requests, if you have any questions, any comments, or anything, let me know. Onward and upwards.